Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to Ask Alice Anything. Our topic today is to have a panel discussion on GIS folks answering life's toughest questions. This is going to be part one of a three-part series. During this pandemic, a lot of us are dealing with a lot of different challenges. So I think it's important to share some wisdom, share some experience, and simply to check in on one another. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the first group. I'm ready to go, and let's see who's coming on today.
So thank you guys for coming to this video with me. Thank you for participating. So this is group A of our GIS folks answering life's toughest questions. Before we start, can you just, for our audience that's watching, can you just introduce us with your name, how many years you've been in the GIS industry, and the age of your kids? So let's start with, with B, alphabetical, Blaine.
Blaine Castle. I am been in the industry now since '94, and I have two kids. One is 17 and the other is 19. So just finishing grade 12 and just starting second year of university.
Sounds good. And next, Chris. You're on mute, by the way, Chris.
Yes, you're right. I am on mute because my dog started barking at somebody at the door. So I'm in the same exact boat as Blaine. I finished school in '93 and entered the GIS industry, although I had summer jobs before that. In late '93, my kids are 20 and 22. One just finished university, the other just finished second year.
All right, sounds good. And lastly but not least, Paul.
Yes, I've been in the GIS industry for about 23 years. So in 1995, I finished school and got into GIS. Sorry, was it 95? 97, sorry. I've got two kids. One's 25, lives in Ottawa. The other one is still at home, is 23, but well, normally would be working, but because of COVID-19, she's unemployed.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. All right, so that could lead. That's a great segue into my first question. So, can you tell us about
how old we all are? Is that your first question?
No. People are smart, can do math, can do that in their heads. So I'm not gonna insult anyone's intelligence. I'm just wondering,
almost seniors.
I'm jealous of the drink. Paul's got the right idea here.
I know he does. We should have a drink. Damn it, where's my scotch? No, just wondering, what are you working on in life right now, as in life, work, and also yourself during this whole pandemic?
Start the other direction.
Sure, Paul, go ahead.
Thanks, Blaine. What am I working on? Right now, that's, I guess, a tough question. I guess pretty much I'm working on keeping my sanity and not getting too depressed by the situation. I find that it's a real challenge. I mean, work is great because work is a great way to occupy one's time, and it gives me direction and meaning to my day. But I find that it's a real challenge to not get depressed by things because, it's the weekends and the evenings are pretty much the same environment as the day. So there's not enough variety between the weekends and the workday to feel refreshed by the end of the week, or to feel like, yeah, you've had a new experience. And, even, the thought of taking vacation, it's like, okay, so what do you do on your vacation? Right now there's not much to do. So, I mean, primarily the focus for me right now in this particular point in time is just basically, get through this, and we'll see.
All right, Chris, anything to add to that, or similar or different?
No, similar. I'm finding I feel a bit busier right now with all this going on than I normally do. I think that's partly that we are trying to support a lot of, COVID specific initiatives, like Paul on the data side, me on the hub side, and some of the templates. However, there's still the day job. So trying to juggle those things. So there's a bit more on our plate right now. And I would agree with Paul that you combine that with this challenge of being able to separate work from home. I mean, look behind me. I'm not in my office at work. I'm in the office at home.
Right.
My commute to work is coming up the stairs with my cup of coffee. So there's that temptation after dinner to go back and do a bit more work. So, but I think it's worthwhile. I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot, learning a ton, learning a lot about our own technology, learning a lot about how things do and don't work in the real world. For me and my team, we're usually communicating about the new products, the new technology, the art of the possible. We're not working in the real world in the here and now very often. So that's been an interesting change for us.
Yeah, that's good. Blaine?
Similar to Chris there, I'm finding doing a lot of learning, in part because I've got a passion project working on with a kind of a health group here that isn't a government health, they're a commercial organization, but they're looking at dashboards and adapting the Esri dashboards and stuff. So I kind of spend my evenings looking at dashboards, creating dashboards, looking at the data they've got, and seeing how the technology is really used, and helping them create that for their needs specifically for that. So to me, it's kind of exciting going back to being a young GIS analyst again, as opposed to crotchety old individual that I am.
Yes, which we all established up front.
We already started that. So because if you have teenage kids or adult-ish kids at home, what are the challenges of that age group that you had to deal with at home with them all the time? Is it just not waking them up? It's, what is it? And how are you neutralizing that challenge or not? Who wants to go, Chris?
It's different. I mean, I talk to some of my coworkers who have young kids, and I know they've got real challenges because they haven't been in school. I'm sure, Alice, you, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be participating in the next demographic group. We'll talk about that with my experience. Yeah.
I can only imagine what that would be like. I'm kind of in the same boat as Paul. My oldest got laid off because of the COVID-19. So she's in Kingston, and so you kind of worry. I mean, you never stop worrying. My youngest had a nice summer job lined up that at a camp that all got taken away. So now it's kind of like, okay, what is she going to do for her summer? Does she take an extra course? Does she, so it's different. It's different challenge. We're not dealing, I don't think I'm dealing with the day-to-day, keeping them occupied and keeping them off of my webinars. It's more just sort of, in general, I think people who are in transition years right now, I think of kids who are just finishing up grade 12, kids who have just graduated from university or just graduated from college. They're the ones that are really, I think, getting hit hard with this whole transition. And it's, you really feel for them. You rely on that summer job as a student. But, if that goes away, what do you do? Right?
Yeah. Where do you have to keep coming up with new things to not only to keep yourself entertained, but also keep your kids entertained, because they're young adults. They probably still have more neurons than you guys are, or not me right now, right? So too many new things, novelty. That's one part of brain plasticity, right? So
The interesting thing I saw was a post that somebody had. In 10 years' time, you're not going to remember the school that you missed. But what you're going to be talking about and what you're going to be using in a job interview is during the COVID shutdown, this is what I learned, this is what I achieved, this is what I did in my 6 months off. And the thing I've tried to say to my kids is, you know, get up, do yourself a favor by spending 2 hours on a personal project. Try to make sure that you are achieving something that you can use in 10 years' time as a betterment of you, not remembering the funny cat videos you got or sent, you know.
I think, you know, my son is living on his own. He's working from home as well. And I think really the challenge there is that, you know, I guess as a parent is just to make sure that he's doing okay emotionally, because he tends to sort of dig himself into a hole. So it's a matter of checking up on him and, you know, talking to him regularly. My daughter is a bit better on that. Yeah, she's at home, and, you know, sometimes you wish that she wasn't, but for the most part, you know, we've early on in my working from home, we sort of worked out things and how things were going to work out, or how we were going to do things. And that was good, coming to that understanding early on, because, you know, unlike some people, we were in a very, you know, a 3-bedroom condo. So, you know, we don't have a lot of space. We don't have a backyard or anything like that. So, you know, we have to sort of negotiate that. And, you know, yeah, I mean, she was looking for work the other day and was like, yeah, there's nothing out there. And it's, you know, she's in the social work field, right? So it requires a lot of personal interaction. That's just not happening these days. So, but, you know, she's gotten herself some projects, and, you know, clearly got to check in with her as well from time to time to make sure she's doing okay emotionally. But, you know, in terms of, you know, keeping her entertained, you know, she's looking after herself on that matter.
that's good. That's good. All right, the next question I have for you guys is, you know, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And what are you doing
As old people
to help achieve that? So you're not old relative to Earth. You're very young, actually.
Well, hopefully not.
Us old people are watching what's going on in long-term care facilities and just keeping our
no kidding.
fingers crossed right now, Alice. Geez.
Hopefully none of us are
It's
in
all
any of those
relative.
long-term
You're
care
still young.
facilities.
So yeah, what do you want to do in 5 years, or what do you see yourself 5 years from now? Hopefully.
Well, Alice, you've already told me that I'll be working for you in 5 years' time. So.
Oh, that's right. I did. I just said that.
We're all going to be working for Alice in 5 years' time.
That'd be the dream. Wouldn't that be? I have this team. That's so wonderful, right?
Has anybody seen the movie The Intern with is it Al Pacino or no, it's not Al Pacino.
Oh yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, this old guy goes back to work.
Old guy goes back to work.
Yeah.
So he's like a senior executive, and he comes in and he starts working for a startup company, and he gives them, and that ideally not in 5 years' time, maybe in 15 years' time. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to be that person. Comes in, just provide some sage advice to the young whippersnappers.
Sage, yes. And Chris, what do you want to be? 5 to 10 years.
Well, it's I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and I'll correct my good friend Blaine that it was Robert De Niro, not Al Pacino. Yeah. So, but I think that it's not going to take 5 years for this, what we're going through right now, to have a huge impact and change our industry. I think there's a lot of industries that are going to be changed by this and feel the impact of this, and I think we're no exception. I think this is going to be this is kind of a, we've been very careful not to be seen as ambulance chasing in what we're doing in GIS. We're trying to support our customers. We're trying to reach out to make sure people get the support they need. I mean, look at the amount of free software that has been provided through the DRP program. I think what this is going to do is shine a very bright light on how important geography and spatial analysis and GIS and location is to the way we function as a society. And so I think that 5 years from now, we're still going to be doing GIS, but I think we're going to be doing it and doing it with people and organizations and realms that don't even occur to us right now. I think this is going to sort of really open up new areas. And I think, not just the obvious of healthcare, but look at all the stuff around managing. You think about the sort of the follow-on stuff. We've known for years the importance of spatial analysis and proximity analysis and all those sorts of things on a regional scale or on a city scale or a province scale. This is going to be important on a room scale and an office scale as we try to manage those sorts of things. So I just think that there's going to be, I think it's hard to predict what GIS is going to look like in 5 years. I think we're still going to be GIS experts, but I think we're going to be doing it in new interesting ways. And
I can't wait actually myself. Paul, what do you see what's going to happen in 5 years with you or industry?
Well, the industry, I mean, I sort of agree with Chris, but I guess personally, I mean, this is the way I read the question originally, was like, what am I going to be doing in 5 years? And, I've always had problems with that question. If it was an interview question or whatever, if I was in school, what are you going to be doing in 5 years? Like, I have no freaking clue. And even now, it's like, I guess, I'm probably going to be doing pretty much the same that I'm doing, with different tools, and, maybe there'll be some variations on what I'm doing, but, I don't see a lot of changes. I mean, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, it is what it is. And I don't know. It's for me, that's a really hard question to answer. It's like, what do you want to do in 5 years? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, Alice, I'd agree with Paul. That's a good point. I don't think I want to, me personally, I don't think I want to be doing anything differently. I love showing people what they can do with this technology. I think the vehicles and the mechanisms through which we do that are going to change. Are we going to use other things? Are we going to do more virtual? Are we going to meet more like we're meeting now as an organization? Yeah, I think the logistics and the mechanics are going to change, but I can't see the nature of what I do changing anytime soon. I'm too stubborn.
Yeah.
I sort of agree with you, Chris. It's like, I really like doing what I'm doing. So It's like, why should I do anything different? Because I like doing what I'm doing. I'm at the point in my life, it's like, I don't really have any big aspirations to be, director or vice president or whatever, right? It's like,
I discourage that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, the trials and tribulations that are involved in these positions. As like, I appreciate my work-life balance.
Hold on, you're the one drinking.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, like I said, I appreciate my life-work balance.
Alice, here's a way to think of it. When I went to university, I did a degree in geology and cartography. And when I went to get my certificate for my cartography portion, the person who was handing out said, here's your certificate in coloring in. That's how he termed cartography. It was a degree in coloring in. And I thought, if I can be 55 years old and doing a job that involves coloring in, that means I'm in the right career because it's fun, right? Have you ever seen a kid coloring in and going, this is not fun? Of course it's bloody fun, right? So great.
Yeah.
He thought he was being demeaning, but you know what?
Oh,
Here,
Jokes
here,
on
I've
you.
got the
I
right
love
job.
your
You got the
answers.
wrong job, buddy.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love all your answers. This is why I like talking to you folks. All right. The next question is a multiple choice. All right. So,
Oh, boy.
do you think COVID is a way of Earth punishing us, or B, a result of accumulated actions of humans' doings to the planet since industrial evolution, and Earth is just simply reacting to it, or C, an inevitable step we must take to evolve to the next level of collective consciousness, a blessing in disguise?
D, none of the above.
Yeah.
I'm going with same as Paul, Captain Kirk answer. I don't believe in a no-win situation, so this is a D. COVID
D?
is a it's a term for a crow, the family of crows, isn't it?
I thought it was a murder of crows, wasn't it?
No. But the collective, that's the collective term of but I think
Oh,
the actually
okay.
it's like the family, the genetic name or whatever they call it. I'm not
I
a
think
book
you're. I think you're thinking of Coven for Witches.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm
So,
not
what's your
going with
answer?
any of those, Alice, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm not going to go with either of those. But if you force me to pick one,
You don't have to pick one.
look,
You can pick your own if you want.
look, I think nature has always had these bowling balls that it rolls down the alley at a group of species every once in a while on a regular basis. It's just part of natural. Viruses are part of a natural. There's part of the environment and nature as we are. I think in this day and age, I think the reason we feel the impacts of these things more is because of the global nature of our society. Because we're able to fly from, someone is able to fly from Wuhan to Italy in a matter of hours, whereas it took Marco Polo months, right? So I think you see these things appear to be worse because they're flash fires now as opposed to
And we're able
smoldering
to do more.
burns, right?
Right. And because
So I
we're
think
able to do more
they
compared to
spread, yeah, they spread farther, they spread faster because we move around more. So I think we just need to adapt and adjust to that, because we're not about to go back to, sort of, castle walls in our society. But so I think we just need to learn how to cope with that reality.
If you look at
And I think
the
humans are great at being adaptive of everything that's happening that nature has thrown to us, right? I think we're great at being, adapt to whatever our current environment has given us. So I can't wait to see how we're going to adapt to this once everything sort of go back to a new normal, a new standards of working and working from home, working in the office, how we interact, right? How this is going to affect in the future. And sorry, Blaine, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you take Chris's analogy further, that you look at Marco Polo's trip from China back to Europe at the time, effectively that was one of the vectors for the plague, and the plague visited the Black Death upon Northern Europe, and was followed by the Renaissance. So, if you follow that analogy, perhaps we'll end up with a renaissance of our own in 5-10 years. That'd be nice, right?
We get to do it without losing a third of the world's population.
That is true. That is true.
There are always some expenses. All right, and next one is, what is the meaning of life to you at this point?
Oh.
Who wants to take that one?
I'll start.
Paul?
So here's my philosophy. Meaning of life for me is to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. And that's it.
With your dog?
God.
That's the dyslexic.
You can walk humbly with your dog too, but I'm talking about your dog.
I believe in dog.
Oh, I like it. Who's Blaine or Chris?
I like Dr. Bonnie Henry, who's the medical officer here in BC, she has be kind, be calm, and be safe as her message that she relates every time she does a presentation. And I would basically say that should be a meaning of life for everybody, is you go about doing that and you're probably going to get on well. And I like to combine your meaning of life and your next question about needing to find a purpose. Yeah, you should live your life with a purpose, and it doesn't have to be, you know, to make more money, to rise to the next position in the job. It's just find a purpose that you like doing and keep doing it, and that would provide meaning to your life, right? So I'm quite happy with either of those.
Chris?
Yeah, I'd combine the next two as well. I've heard this quote attributed to Steve Jobs, is that everybody wants to put their dent in the universe. And I think that's, for me, where I am right now is I'm thinking about what is my dent in the universe? You know, what is my contribution? Have I given more than I took? You know, as you
You're
go
a
through
black
that,
hole, Chris.
a black hole, yeah, just take.
Sucks everything.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, I just think, you know, you got to think about your contribution.
Yeah. So the last question is my daughter's question. She's the one that asked this question. She goes, why, mommy? And how do you guys answer that? Why?
Why not?
Why, what?
I think she means that why do we have to have a, speaking of which, why do we have to have a reason for doing something? Say hi.
You don't need to have a reason all the time.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
Isn't the standard parents one because I told you to?
Yeah, that's what I used to be my answer.
That doesn't seem to work anymore.
No.
Can I give you riddles?
But yes, you can give one riddle to all these guys, please.
What goes on red but stops on green?
What goes
When
on
you
a
guys know the
red
answer, don't tell on it.
I know the answer.
Yeah, Blaine, you
stops on a green.
Mm.
I don't know.
A watermelon.
Aha, watermelon. I get it.
When you're going through this, you're going to be asking same set of questions to each of the demographics, is it? Okay.
Yes.
No, maybe I didn't read the full email, but what's the purpose of this whole exercise?
Now you ask?
Yeah, well.
You said yes and committed and participated. The purpose is to keep me, first of all, 3 reasons. To keep me sane, doing something completely different than just my usual GIS work. Because just like you said, I can't tell the difference between day 1 versus day 2. I need something different that's not in your typical job, between taking care of kids and, you know, calling customers about selling GIS. And number 2 is because I'm feeling all these questions, you know, I'm answering these questions myself and going through some challenges. I was just curious if anybody else going through the same thing, or am I the only person that's going insane right now? So it's comforting to know that everybody has different challenges.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one going insane. I know that for myself, it's like, you know, it some days are great, and other days I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing here?
Yep.
What are we doing here? It's like, what's the point of all this?
Exactly.
And it's, I think
exactly.
You're not the only one. I think everybody's going through that, and you know, we just don't have an opportunity to talk about it.
Well, that's my third reason is this is another way of sharing our thoughts during what we're going through a different platform than the traditional ones that's out there. And, you know, if you're game, that's great. And that's why I'm doing this.
Good. Well, good project.
Yeah,
hats off to you.
Thanks. Thank you. Chris, do you have any other questions? We have like 2 minutes before Zoom cuts us off.
No, I think I'm good. This has been really interesting.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks a lot, Alice.
Cheers.
Go
See you
get
guys.
Go get your
day.
beers, guys.
I'm going to get my beer. Yeah.
There you have it. That was my first group. Next up is GIS professionals with young kids under the age of 10. We'll see how they answered the same questions. Stay tuned and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.